Shalom. This is the 10th chapter of the series of the Gospel Straight Through. I'm Big Yalda, the messenger, Big Yalda. And to my right, I have
Brother Yerushalayim.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, we're going to get right into our lesson today. And it's Matthew chapter 10. We're going to start at verse 1.
Matthew 10 and verse 1. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out, and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
All right, remember, now we're still talking about when he went up into the mountain and the great multitude followed him from chapter 8, chapter 7. We go all the way back to chapter 5. He was up in the mountain. And now he's come in the 9th chapter. He's come and entered into the ship and passed over and came to his own city. So now he's in his own city now. And we know who is his own city. And 10, now he's called to him his 12 disciples in his own city. Remember, he's in his own city.
Right.
All right. So now let's see who he called.
Verse 2. And the names of the 12 apostles are these. The first, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew his brother, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother. Verse 3, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the publican, James the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus. Sorry. Verse 4, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot,
So
who
now
also betrayed him.
Okay. Now right there, let's go back to the second verse. It gives you the name of the 12 apostles. When you get to Acts, it's going to say 11 apostles. That's another, but just pay attention to these small details. These are the 12 apostles. Okay. Now, in the first verse, he gave them power against unclean spirits. Mm-hmm. What made you unclean? This should be the question. What makes you unclean? All right. I'm not going to... the unclean spirits, to cast them out. Remember, he just over in chapter 9, you see they have a person sick of palsy, and you got over here the woman with the issue of blood, uncleanliness. So these are spirits. These are things, uncleanlinesses that he came to take out. And if you remember, he says, I came to, it's in Matthew chapter, let's go to Matthew chapter 4.
Okay.
And it says, Matthew chapter 4 and 16.
16. The people which sat in darkness saw a great light, and to them which sat in the region and shadow of death, light is sprung up. From that time Yahushua began to preach and to say, Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
So now, that's the kingdom, to preach to those who are in darkness, those who are deprived of light, to bring those out of the prison. Let's go to Isaiah 42, and I want to say 42 and 5 through 7.
Isaiah 42 verse 5. Thus saith God the Lord, He that created the heavens and stretcheth them out, He that spread forth the earth, and that which cometh out of it, He that giveth breath unto the people upon it, and spirit to them that walk therein.
Spirit. So now we have spirit, we have unclean spirit. I
am the Lord. I the Lord have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles, to open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sat in darkness out of the prison house.
Give me Isaiah 9:1.
Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 1. Nevertheless, the dimness shall not be such as was in her vexation. When at the first he lightly afflicted the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterwards did more grievously afflict her by the way of the sea beyond Jordan in Galilee of the nations.
The Gentiles, We just read that in Matthew 4.
Verse 2. The people that walk in darkness have seen a great light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them hath the light shine.
Now, that's what he came to do. Fulfill prophecy. There go your 5 and 7, Matthew 5 and 17. And to cast out spirits, unclean spirits. We know the two men, and when he crossed over to Bethsaida, and how they come and said, give me Matthew 8 and 28.
Matthew 8 and verse 28.
I'm just showing you his works and what he came to do.
And when he was come to the other side into the country of the Gergeses, there met him two possessed with devils, coming out of the tombs exceeding fierce, so that no man might pass by the way.
Now skip down to 32.
Verse 32. And he said unto them, Go. And when they were come out, they went into the herd of swine. And behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the sea and perished in the waters.
So now, unclean spirits, unclean animals are synonymous. Now he's come to he gave them power against this kind of stuff. So the things that he was doing, he gave them the same power. This is that power that he gave them to heal, to against unclean spirits, to cast out all, and to heal all manner of sickness and all disease, issues of blood, blindness, whatever you name. That's what he came to do. This was a sign of the prophecy. So now he sent his 12 disciples with this same power. Let's go to 5. Oh, let's deal with this first. Let's go to verse 4. And we're going to start off with, anyone who is conscious of the Israelites not supposed to mix with the Canaanites. Let's see what Canaanite this is.
Matthew 10 and verse 4, right?
Give me, Matthew 10 verse 4, but also give me John 2nd chapter and the 1st verse.
Which one you want first?
John, the 2nd chapter.
John 2 and verse 1. And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee.
And where?
Cana of Galilee.
So he was a Canaanite. He wasn't a Canaanite. He was it's just like Paul states he's of Tarsus. Now give me Acts 21 and 39. I'm going to prove something to you. He was not a Canaanite. He was of Cana of Galilee.
Right.
So we know we're not supposed to mix with the Canaanites. Watch what Paul says.
Which one you want?
21 and 39.
Acts 21 verse 39. But Paul said, I am a man which am a Jew of Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, a citizen of no mean city, and I beseech thee, suffer me to speak unto the people.
Okay, so now Paul is saying he's of Tarsus. So many people have known him as a Sicilian. But let's go to 11 and 1. Let's see who Paul says he is. Romans 11 and 1. Let's see who Paul says. Let's see what Paul says out of his own mouth.
Romans 11 and verse 1. I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid. For I also am an Israelite.
As a what?
Am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin.
Of the tribe of Benjamin. So therefore, Paul said he's an Israelite. But the book just said that he was a Sicilian of Tarsus. So that's not talking about bloodline. It's like to say that it's to say just because I'm born in America does not make me an American.
Right. Right.
You can put an African elephant in a cage in America. He's still an African elephant, but he's just in a cage in America.
Yeah.
Now let's see what this Canaanite thing. Let's go to Acts 1:13. Let's see what Simon is called here instead of Canaanite, because now we're not talking about bloodline. We're talking about a place of residence. That's why I said Cana of Galilee, not Simon of the Canaanites. You have to pay attention to those kind of phrases in the Bible.
Acts 1:13. And when they were come in, they went up into an upper room where abode both Peter and James, and John and Andrew, Philip and Thomas, Bartholomew and Matthew, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon Zealots.
The who?
Zealots.
Zealots.
And Judas the brother of James.
So now, with that being said, a zealot was meaning one ready to go to war against Rome. There was those zealots. They didn't play. You know, they believed in the book. They believed in scriptures, but don't cross them,
Right.
because you might get dealt with. So let's go on. Let's go on. Let's go on.
Matthew 10.
Yeah, Matthew 10.
Matthew 10
Verse 5.
and verse 5. These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Okay, so right there, let's deal with this right now. Go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I'm going to break this down to you. At this time, in that land, there was Naphtali, Zebulun, Judah, Levi, Benjamin. So what he's saying is, don't go to Judah first. That's what he's saying. Go to Judah, but we're gonna go to what was known as the Gentiles. Now, and I can prove that to you, because when we get further, now what he's saying, we have to know that these 5 tribes are the whole house of Israel, broken up. Go not in the way of the Gentiles, and into any of the city of the Samaritans enter ye not. Now, the city of the Samaritans, Samaritans lived in what's called providences. There were cities and there were providences. That's why he said, don't go into that city yet. Go into the providences. You can still talk to them, but don't go into the city of the Samaritans. Go into the outskirts. Go where I tell you to go first, because I have to go. I have a job to do in the city of Samaria in its proper time. Go not in the way of the Gentiles. Don't get those other mixed nations, because there are other nations mixed in with the 5. That's why the Samaritans had so many problems, because they mixed in with so many different nations. They were called dogs. That's why the woman, the Mashiach said in the Gospels, is not fit to give the dogs bread to the. It's not fit to give the children's bread to the dog. And she said, yet, but master, even we eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. The dogs even eat. So this understanding has to be in your mindset. You cannot read the Bible from what you have known, because now you have to understand that these 5 tribes, these 5 children, descendants of Yaakov or Yashar'Allah or Israel, whose name was Jacob. These 5 tribes were mixed. There were people mixed in there. So don't go in the way of that Gentile, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The house of Israel is speaking of the whole house at this time. So you cannot separate the actual house of Israel and the house of Judah, because we were all mixed in together. So at that time, they would have known exactly what he was saying. We're sitting here 2,000 years later, some odd years later, and thinking, well, he said don't go to the house of Israel. So, that's got to be talking about the other nations. No. We were mixed. They were mixed in with us. And to be honest with you, Rome did a great job at making sure that we were mixed, because they brought in captives and mixed them with us. They did that. They put providences around our providences, and then they, in turn, mixed. When we didn't, that wasn't really a custom of ours. That's how we fell off. Okay? Give me 7.
Verse 7. And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
All right. Let's go a little further. I'm going to go into this concordance, the Illustrated Dictionary and Concordance of the Bible, and I'm going to show you what happened. And if you can, just go and purchase you one. And
Samaritans, inhabitants of the district of Samaria, following the exchange of population affected by the Assyrians after their conquest of the northern kingdom in 722 BC.
So now the Assyrians, the conquest of the Assyrians brought in different people.
Pursuing their policy of transferring conquered peoples, the Assyrians deported many of the original inhabitants of the northern kingdom and replaced them with a mixture of people from the east.
Go not in the way of the Gentiles. The mixture.
From Babylon, Ava, Hamath, Shepharvim, and Cuth, deriving from the latter. The Samaritans are often referred to in rabbinic literature as Cuthim. The name Samaritan appears only once in the Old Testament, in 2 Kings 17:29, where it is used for these newcomers who persisted in their pagan ways.
See? Go not in the ways of the pagans. Go not in the ways of the Gentiles.
However, the majority of the population was constituted by the Israelites who had not been deported and who continued in their Israelite faith.
But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Thank you, Yosh.
All right.
Thank you, the water.
Yeah.
So there's the proof right there. There's the proof. The mixture. The Gentiles were mixed in. Don't mess with that mixture. You see? That's book right there. That's book. Let's go on to
verse 8.
8.
Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received,
and freely
give. 9. Provide neither gold nor silver nor brass in your purses, nor scrip for your journey, neither 2 coats, neither shoes, nor yet staves. For the workman is worthy of his meat.
Right here. Now, it's telling us right there how to go. Mashiach was telling them how to go. Should not we follow this order when it comes to us doing this work? Should not. What he's saying, the mindset we should have. We should not go depending on people nowadays to feed us, because people nowadays don't keep the commandments. And we could be eating a nice fat pork sandwich.
Right.
Or some greens with some fat back in it.
Right, yeah.
Or some bad ankle soup or something, you know. We ain't gonna, no. I go do my thing, you know.
Right.
But what he's telling us, don't make these things your arm. Go in the spirit by Shema Mashiach Yahushua. That's how you go. You don't go thinking, oh, I'm the man, oh, I know this, and I got this, and I got that. There goes your haughty spirit, there goes your high-minded spirit, and guess what? You have your reward.
Yep.
Verse
11. And into whatsoever city or town ye shall enter, inquire who in it is worthy, and there abide till ye go thence. And when ye come into an house, salute it. And if thy house be worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it be not worthy, let your peace return to you.
Give me Psalms 35. 13 through the 14th verses. Because what's going to happen here, if you go to that house and that house is worthy of your peace, you greet that house. And if it's worthy, see, when you think greeting and worthy is, are you keeping the commandments? Are you of the Father, because we just read in this book here, some people were keeping the commandments, but some weren't. So that's why we had to greet the house and see the greeting. Let's go. Let's watch this. Let's let the book speak.
Psalms 35 and verse 13. But as for me, when they were sick, my clothing was sackcloth. I humbled my soul with fasting, and my prayer returned into my own bosom. Verse 14. I behaved myself as though he had been my friend or brother. I bowed down heavily as one that mourneth for his mother.
I bowed down heavily. Heavily I bowed myself. Are you worthy of my bow? Are you worthy to be, are you my brother? Read the part about the brother again.
I behaved myself as though he had been my friend or brother.
Or brother. Who is our brother? Who is our friend? Yasha Allah. That's why he said, go and see who's worthy. If you're my brother, then you're going to be worthy of this company. You're going to be worthy that me come here and give you this word. Because you ain't going to give the word to, the Bible says, cast not the pearl to the swine. That go to unclean spirit. So if this spirit is able to receive, I'm going to salute it. And my peace is going to come back unto me. My shalom. That's why the city was called Yarah Shalom. City of peace. Yarah Shalom. Peace. Give me Job 30. Verse 25 and 26.
Job chapter 30, verse 25. Did not I weep for him that was in trouble? Was not my soul grieved for the poor? When I looked for good, then evil came unto me.
I salute it. If it ain't worthy.
And when I waited for light, there came darkness.
I go to this. I don't want to hear that. I have Abraham as my father. I don't want to hear that. I have Abraham. I don't want to hear this stuff, about healing the Mashiach. I don't want to hear this stuff. That's evil. You bring your peace back to you and you leave. It's telling that the two verses we just read out of Psalm and Job is telling you how to go. As your brother in mourning, as humble. It's telling you to be holy, for I am holy. Go to your brothers with humility. Go in the way of Mashiach, for he was lowly.
Right.
Go as that. Don't go with your staff and your big Bible and your purse and get that kind of glory. No.
Right.
Go as if in sackcloth and ashes. As in mourning. Bow down yourself heavily. How you doing, my brother? Sister? Well, what do you want? You know what? I just want to talk to you. I don't want to hear all that. Okay. All right. Then you go on. Give me 1 Corinthians 12. Give me Romans 12 and 15. It's the Bible clearly gives us the order of how we're supposed to do things.
Romans 12 and 15. Rejoice with them that do rejoice.
See? Mourn with them, rejoice with them, be as in sackcloth and ashes. Be as your brother is, so that they can receive the word. Don't go there with this old high-minded spirit of the script person, all that stuff. Do it this way.
And weep with them that weep.
You see? Sackcloth and ashes. 1 Corinthians 12. The order. There's an order given. This is how we ought to do things. 1 Corinthians 12, 25 through 28.
1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 25. That there should be no schism in the body, but that the members should have the same care one for another.
Sackcloth and ashes.
And whether one member suffer, all the members suffer with it. Or one member be honored, all members rejoice with it. Now ye are the body of Christ, and members in particular. And God hath set some in the church, first apostles, secondarily prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healings, helps in governments, diversity of tongues.
The order. This is the order. Let's go back to Matthew.
Matthew 10 and verse 14. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when ye depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. 15. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah in that day of judgment than for that city.
Go not into the city of the Samaritans. In other words, don't act like they act. Don't be like them. Go to your brothers in humility. If they're rejoicing in honor, then rejoice with them. We got that. So now you have to shake the dust. Shake off the dust of your feet. Give me Mark 6 and 11. Let's Mark 6 and 11.
Mark chapter 6, verse 11. And whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear you, when ye depart thence, shake off the dust under your feet for a testimony against them.
For a what?
Testimony against them.
For a what?
Testimony against them.
For a testimony against them that you did not receive me. And when I came in the order by Shema Mashiach Yahushua, you did not receive me as a brother and as a friend. Therefore, you're gone. It's going to be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah than for you. You know what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right. Verily I say unto you, it shall be more tolerable for Sodom and Gomorrah in the day of judgment than for that city.
All right, let's go back to Matthew 10 and 16.
Matthew 10, verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves.
Give me 2 Corinthians 11, verses 7 through 9.
2 Corinthians 11, verse 7. Have I committed an offense in abasing myself, that you might be exalted, because I have preached to you the gospel of God freely? I robbed the churches, taking wages of them to do you service.
I took from the church to come and do you service. In other words, I robbed from the church. I did not go to the church at the appointed time. He didn't steal. That's not, because the Bible says thou shalt not steal. The law says that. So when you hear that kind of stuff, you have to think in your mind. He didn't rob the church. He didn't go in and say, stick him up. Give me the money.
Right.
You know, give me the loot. He didn't do that. He went and he gave his service to them instead of the church. Let's get a reference to that. Acts 20, 33 and 34.
Acts 20, verse 33. I have coveted no man's silver or gold or apparel. Yea.
So he didn't steal nothing.
Right.
He didn't covet it.
Right.
There you go.
Yea. You yourselves know that these hands have ministered unto my necessities and to them that were with me.
So he ain't stole or robbed. There you go. That's proof. All right. Give me with that, give me no, let's talk about that. I'm gonna go back to the concordance, and I want to prove to you that who the wolves were that he was going to send us among, and what they were going to do to us when he sent us among them. The Bible concordance once again, and if you got one, go to page 850 and 851. It'll give me this right here, the Sanhedrin. I'm gonna prove to you. Give me 17 first, and then go to this. Give me 16 and 17 again.
Matthew 10, verse 16. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Verse 17. But beware of men, for they
beware of who?
Beware of men.
Who?
Men. For they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in the synagogues.
In the synagogues. Now let's go to this book here, and let's read
Sanhedrin, the supreme Jewish political, religious, and judicial body in Judea during the Roman period. The name Sanhedrin is a Greek word.
Greek word, not Hebrew. Used
only in the Roman period.
There's a schism right there. There's a schism right there. It's a Greek word used only when?
In the Roman period from the 1st century BC. But the existence of such a council goes back to Persian times when it was called Gerousia.
Oh, so now we're back to the Persian times again. Give me Numbers 11 and 16. Numbers 11, 16. We're gonna keep that, but we're gonna prove something here, because the same thing I had to prove with the gentleman last week, that when you hear Paul going through battles with the priesthood and the people, you got to understand there were mixed people in here. Let's see who these people are. Numbers 11 and 16.
Numbers 11 verse 16. And the Lord said unto Moses, gather unto me 70 men. 70 men. Of the elders of Israel.
Of who?
Of Israel. Whom thou knowest to be elders of the people.
Of the who?
Of the people. And officers over them. And bring them unto the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with thee.
There go you 70 right there. There go you 70 right there. Now let's go back to this book. Let's see what was going on. What happened with the 70 righteous elders that we just read about in Numbers 11 and 16. Let's see what happened.
Tradition links 70 members of the Sanhedrin with 70 elders who with Moses were the leaders of the people.
Schism. There go you schism. That's 140 people. 70 and 70 is 140, right?
No.
That's why all the tensions came forth, because the Most High gave us 70 righteous men, and they went and added 70 more. So guess what? You got light and darkness. The Most High didn't tell them to bring 70 more. That was not the instructions in the Torah, or what's called the law. So now I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. And then it says, give me the one about the men. That's good on that. That's good on that.
Okay.
I just wanted to show that schism. What happened? Why there's so many discrepancies in this gospel? Not the gospel, but in what was going on at this time. Give me 17 again.
Matthew 10 verse 17. Beware of men.
These are the men. The other 70.
For they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in the synagogues. And ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in the same hour what ye shall speak. Verse 20. For it is not ye that speak.
What?
It is not ye that speak.
Who is it?
But the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you.
So now shut up. Stop trying to talk. Because the Bible says it's not you that speaks, but the Father was in you that speaks. When Mashiach was questioned, what did he do? He didn't say anything. He did not speak. He's not going to tell you to do something he wouldn't do. He was delivered up. Peter was delivered up. Paul was delivered up. I mean, just count. John. Wow.
Yeah.
Moses was delivered up. Abraham was delivered up. And the Spirit gave them utterance in the time of need. Every time. Well, you know, you got some people, some scoffers that'll go, well, I heard one scoffer say, Abraham was a coward because he lied. He was scared before the Pharaoh and lied and said that his wife was his sister. And it was one of those Egypt people. I guess it was. I don't know, whatever. But the thing that got me is, if Abraham was such a coward and he offered up his wife as his sister, then the Pharaoh's even more cowardice, because he gave Abraham more stuff than he had when he came, and his daughter.
Yeah.
So for them to say that Abraham was a coward, that means that Pharaoh's even more of a coward.
Yeah.
So don't think about what you're going to say. Don't think about what you're going to eat or drink. Don't think about your purse or your staff nor two shoes, because when you go, the Most High is going to speak. The Spirit's going to speak through you anyways. I got one even better for you. Let's go to let me see what that is. I want to say Matthew 4. Matthew 4. And you know what? That's not it. There's one passage that says that even Mashiach had to be, even the Spirit had to speak through Mashiach. I believe it's in John, Luke or John. Even the Spirit had to speak for Mashiach, and he opened his mouth, and the Spirit spake through him, saying this and that. It's in the book. I can't. I'm old now. My memory ain't there all the way, y'all. Yeah. But let's go on. Matthew 10 and 21.
And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the mother shall rise up against their parents, and cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he that endureth to the end shall be saved.
So all you got to do is endure to the end for his name's sake. Do his order for his name's sake, and endure to the end. You shall be saved. That says it right there. The Most High can't lie. The Mashiach is the word of the Most High, so he can't lie.
Verse 23. But when they persecute you in this city, flee ye into another. For verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come.
So, before you go over the whole land of Israel, for persecution's sake, just like we're persecuted now, before we go over the whole land of America, guess what? The Son of Man will become. According to prophecy, we're going to go to our own land, the Son of Man become. Okay, let's go on.
Verse 24. The disciple is not above his master.
It's not.
Nor the servant above his Lord. Verse 25. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master, and the servant as his Lord. If they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household?
So now, if your master is called this and that, what do you think they think of you?
Right.
You're not above your master.
Right. And Beelzebub is a demon. That's the chief demon. That's Satan
Beelzebub.
Right.
It's translated as Lord of the Flies. That's what it's translated as. You know what flies hang around? Garbage and dead stuff.
Right. Verse 26. Fear them not, therefore, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed.
You do it in the dark, it's going to come out in the light. I'm telling you, I've lived it.
And hid that shall not be known.
There it is. If you don't trust your mate, just be silent, be still, and get. I promise you, if I'm lying, I'm flying. I'm too big to fly. The Bible says it will be uncovered. It's going to be uncovered. It's in the book. We believe the book. We believe the Most High. We believe He can't lie. Guess what? It's going to be revealed.
Verse 27.
This is wisdom I'm trying to teach you all. I'm teaching you all wisdom by Shema Mashiach Yahushua. This book, through this book, I'm teaching you wisdom. Don't go get your house in an uproar. Don't go and start accusing. Just sit back and watch. It'll come full-fledged. It'll probably come right from their mouth. If you have a friend you think is backstabbing or whatever, just sit back and watch. It'll come forth. Anything that's covered, it will be uncovered. Or this Bible ain't true.
Right. 27. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light. And what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops.
Don't let nobody have power over you. Don't let anyone say, well, they saying stuff. I don't know what they're saying. Well, what would we say? We say it here and then we say it out in the open. Anything we say in this video, we can say it out there in the street. Anything in this book that we're saying here in secret, or supposing to be in secret, we on video, it's gonna go on Facebook or whatever. It's out in the open now.
Verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell.
Destroy both. Don't fear the man with the gun. Be wise. The Bible told us to be therefore be wise as serpents, as harmless as doves.
Right.
Don't go with the man and say, "Oh, but the Most High got my back. I'm going to charge him with the gun and not die."
Right.
Mashiach told us, "Don't tempt the Most High.
Yeah.
Don't tempt the Most High thy Yah. Be wise. Be wise. Preach what I tell you to preach. Do it the order I tell you to do it. That makes you righteous. That makes you blameless. That makes you upright."
Verse 29. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your father? Verse 30. But the very hairs of your head are all numbered.
He knows the numbers of hairs on your head, so don't worry about that other stuff that's minute.
Verse 31. Fear ye not, therefore. Ye are of more value than many sparrows. Whosoever therefore shall confess me before men, him will I confess before my Father which is in heaven. 33. But whosoever shall deny me before men, him will I also deny before my Father which is in heaven.
An eye for an eye. You do it. You do it. That towards me.
Yeah, I'm
gonna do it towards you.
Right.
Verse
34.
Here goes the zinger.
Think not that I am come to send peace on earth.
Peace on earth and mercy land. They gonna start singing that soon. Deck the halls with fowls of. Man.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's start that over again.
Let me read it again. Verse 34. Think not.
Don't even think it.
That I am come to send peace on earth.
There go your Christmas carol.
I come not to send peace, but a sword.
Let's see what he came to do. Let's see what he came to do.
Verse 35. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father.
But he told us to honor our mother and our father. So why would he put variance against between a man and his father? I'll tell you why. For his name's sake, for his word. When you tell your people and show your people the truth in this book, and they don't adhere to this book, we got a problem. Honor your mother and your father, that your life may be prolonged in the land that I give you. Well, if your father gets into the land and start cutting the fool and start worshiping Beelzebub, gotta go. I'm not following you. I'm not honoring that because you're honoring a demon, and my father's not a demon. Wait. Oh, go ahead.
For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
Give me Micah chapter 7 verse 6. This is prophecy. Prophecy being fulfilled. I came not to destroy the law or the prophets, but to fulfill.
Micah 7 and verse 6. For the son dishonoreth the father, the daughter riseth up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house.
Prophecy.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next verse. 10 and Matthew 10 and 36.
Matthew 10 verse 36. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household.
Ooh. Give me Psalms 41 and 9. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get the precept first and then go to Matthew. Give me Psalms 41 and 9 for verse 36. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. Watch this.
Psalms 41 and what?
41 and 9.
Psalms 41 verse 9. Yea, my own familiar friend in whom I trusted, which did eat of my bread, have lift up his heel against me.
Judas.
Yeah.
All your homeboys back.
Yeah.
All my homeboys, so-called homeboys.
Right. Yep.
Lift up they ate bread with me. We broke bread. We did things together. Now they lift up the heels against me.
Yep. That's deep.
Verse 37.
And another point.
Wait. You know what? Give me Deuteronomy 33 and 9.
Deuteronomy 33 and 9.
I'm going to start at the precept because this is crazy. I'm going to prove to you that the Mashiach was talking everything from the law and the prophets that he came not to destroy. Deuteronomy 33 and 9.
Deuteronomy 33 and verse 9. Who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children. For they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stop right there. Let's go to Luke 14 and 26.
Luke chapter 14 and verse 26. If a man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life, he cannot be my disciple.
It's going to be trouble. Trouble. Now let's go back to Matthew chapter 10 and 37. This is the actual verse. I read the precepts first. This is the actual verse.
He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me.
Ooh.
And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me.
Let's go to 38.
Real quick.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Quick. Verse 36, when it says, and a man's foes shall be they of his own household. Before we get past that, a foe is an enemy. So when it's talking about, when you see, he says in the previous chapters, love thy enemies, he's talking about these people, these enemies of your own household. Because he's saying this, even though that they are enemies towards you, you still got to show some type of love towards them, which is what we're doing here. Showing love, even though a lot of our people are enemies still.
And then, on top of that, Salakia, thank you. The water. Let's go to First John. St. John. Let's go to John, and let's see what he was talking about. Give me John 1 and 11.
John 1 verse 11. He came unto his own, and his own received him not.
12.
But as many as received him, to them he gave power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name.
There we go. You get it? Thank you. All right, let's go to, you got anything else for that one?
No, I'm good.
Let's go to 38.
Matthew 10 verse 38. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What is your cross? Your cross is when everyone turns their back on you. Your cross is when he that lifted up the heel against you that you ate bread with. Your cross is when you show people the truth in the word and they reject you and they make you feel like you're into some kind of cult. That's your cross. The same cross he bear should be the same expectation that you are expecting to bear. You should not think that you're going to get off scot-free. You should not think that everyone's going to listen to you when you come to them. I used to. Then when I found out when I found out they were calling me a demon and demonic and all this stuff, it hurt me. Carrying a cross does not feel good. Go and get any beam you choose. You can go and get a 4x4. Carry that 4x4 for a couple of days straight on, straight out. It's going to start getting heavy. It ain't going to feel the same weight as when you first picked it up. For my yoke is easy and my burdens are light. That's what this cross is. The cross is this life, this captivity, living and dwelling in this captivity. That's this cross. When your people, the friend that lift up like I said, lift up the hill, they turn on you. That's the cross. Mashiach on the cross said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. You know who he was talking about? He was talking about all the people that said, "Oh, Master, we'll be with you through thick and thin. When things got thick, they thin right out." He could have been talking about the people who did what they did to him, because that was prophecy. That had to happen.
Right.
How would he forgive them for fulfilling the prophecy? It was the ones that were with him, that ate bread with him. Forgive them.
Right.
They don't know what they're doing. They're not here. I had to suffer. They thinned out on me. Let's go.
Verse 38. And he that taketh not his cross and followeth after me is not worthy of me. He that findeth his life shall lose it, and he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it.
Give me Matthew 16, 24 through 27.
Matthew 16, verse 24. Then said Jesus unto his disciples.
And to who?
Unto his disciples. If any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross.
Deny yourself and take up your cross.
And follow me.
And follow me. Did not Peter do this? Did not the sons of Zebedee do this? Did not Simon of Cana do this?
25. For whosoever shall save his life shall lose it.
If they wanted to save their boats and fishing nets and all that stuff and not be fishermen of men, they would have lost it.
Yep.
It's just like Beatrice say, I unfriend you.
And whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it.
Shall find it. Is that it on that? Is there more?
For that verse, 25 is done.
Give me go on to 27.
26. For what is a man profiteth if he gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? 27.
A house?
Right.
Michael Jordan's billions?
Right.
What? Think of something. Think of anything. A Lamborghini or anything.
Yeah.
What?
Right.
For your eternal soul.
Oh, right. I don't know anything that's worth it, to be honest.
I mean, you got a hearse with a U-Haul behind it, and you're going to rot in the ground. That stuff is going to rot.
Right,
People going to come steal it, fight over it, whatever. Read that again.
For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
So you work all day, all night to go and do this and have this and have that. I want nice things. I want this and I want that. So does the world. You should want the Most High. You should want His Word. You should want to know His commandments.
Right.
That's what you should want. Where rust and moth don't corrupt. That's what we should want.
Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? 27. For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then shall he reward every man according to his works.
A Lamborghini?
According to his works.
A house on a hill?
According to his works.
According to his works. According to his works. What's the work? Give me a scripture. Give me one of works. Works. Faith without works is dead.
Oh yeah, let's go to I think it's in James.
Faith without works is dead. According to his works.
Right here. James 2 and verse 17.
Here we go.
Even so faith, if it hath not works, is dead being alone.
So that faith is
Right.
listen to this. That
Right.
faith is that you believe his commandments are still standing. Give me Revelation.
Let me keep
go ahead,
going
finish
on
that. Yeah.
Yea, a man may say, Thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works.
Give me Revelations 22 and 14. Here go your works right here. Here go your works right here. That gets you in.
Revelations 22, verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may
do
enter into the gates into the city.
Into the city. And may enter into. There you go.
Right.
There goes your faith and there goes your works.
Right.
Because without that, you are dead.
Right.
Read the next verse. This is where you'll be.
15. For without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
Whoever loves to say the commandments are done away with.
Right.
Whoever loves to say that, come contrary to the faith and works of this Bible.
Right.
That's where you'll end up, on the outside, looking in. Let's go back to, I'm going to finish up. Let's go back to St. Matthew chapter 10, and let's go ahead and wrap that up.
Matthew 10 and verse 40. He that receiveth you receiveth me.
Uh-oh.
And he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me.
So if you receive him, what he's saying is, with the knowledge and understanding of who Mashiach is, or what Mashiach is, he is the word of Yah. So if you receive Mashiach, you have received the word of Yah. Yah spoke a word. You cannot see a word, but now you can, because it became flesh, according to St. John, the first chapter. It became flesh. Let's go there. Let's go there. St. John, the first chapter, and the first chapter and the 14th verse.
John.
Yeah, not First John. I'm sorry, John. St. John. I'm sorry.
St. John chapter 1 verse 14.
Watch this. Watch the first sentence.
And the word was made flesh.
The word, you cannot see my words. You can hear them on this video through this mic, but you cannot see them. But the Most High's words that he spoke was made what?
Made flesh. And dwelt among us.
And dwelt, walked, lived.
And we beheld his glory. The glory as the only begotten of the Father. Full of grace and truth.
Right there. There's your word right there. Read that 10 and 40 again.
He that receiveth you receiveth me. And he that receiveth me receiveth him that sent me. 41. He that receiveth a prophet in the name of a prophet shall receive a prophet's reward.
Whatsoever a man doeth, soweth, that shall he also reap.
He that receiveth a righteous man in the name of a righteous man shall receive a righteous man's reward.
Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. 42.
And whosoever shall give to drink unto one of these little ones a cup of cold water only in the name of a disciple, verily I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward.
Give me Hebrews 6 and 10.
Hebrews 6 verse 10. For God is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed toward his name, in that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister.
And whosoever give to drink unto one of these that he just spoke about, and they call little ones, a cup of cold water in the name of a disciple. Read that again.
For God is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed toward his name. And
verily, I say unto you, he shall in no wise lose his reward.
In that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister.
You shall in no wise lose your reward. Ba'Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shalom.
Shalom.
Hallelujah. Here's unclean animals are synonymous. Now he's come to he gave them power against this kind of stuff. So the things that he was doing, he gave them the same power. This is that power that he gave them to heal, to against unclean spirits, to cast out all, and to heal all manner of sickness and all disease, issues of blood, blindness, whatever you name. That's what he came to do. This was a sign of the prophecy. So now he sent his 12 disciples with this same power. Let's go to 5. Oh, let's deal with this first. Let's go to verse 4. And we're going to start off with, anyone who is conscious of the Israelites not supposed to mix with the Canaanites. Let's see what Canaanite this is.
Matthew 10 and verse 4, right?
Give me, Matthew 10 verse 4, but also give me John 2nd chapter and the 1st verse.
Which one you want first?
John, the 2nd chapter.
John 2 and verse 1. And the third day there was a marriage in Cana of Galilee.
And where?
Cana of Galilee.
So he was a Canaanite. He wasn't a Canaanite. He was of, it's just like Paul states he's of Tarsus. Now give me Acts 21 and 39. I'm going to prove something to you. He was not a Canaanite. He was of Cana of Galilee.
Right.
And it says, Matthew chapter 4 and 16.
The people which sat in darkness saw great light, and to them which sat in the region and shadow of death, light is sprung up. From that time Yahushua began to preach and to say, repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand.
So now that's the kingdom, to preach to those who are in darkness, those who are deprived of light, to bring those out of the prison. Let's go to Isaiah 42 and I want to say 42 and 5 through 7.
Isaiah 42 verse 5. Thus saith God the Lord, he that created the heavens and stretcheth them out, he that spread forth the earth and that which cometh out of it, he that giveth breath unto the people upon it, and spirit to them that walk therein.
Spirit. So now we have spirit, we have unclean spirit. I
am the Lord. I the Lord have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thine hand and will keep thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, for a light of the Gentiles, to open the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and them that sit in darkness out of the prison house.
Give me Isaiah 9 and 1.
Isaiah chapter 9 and verse 1. Nevertheless, the dimness shall not be such as was in her vexation. When at the first he lightly afflicted the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterwards did more grievously afflict her by the way of the sea, beyond Jordan in Galilee of the nations.
The Gentiles, we just read that in Matthew 4.
Verse 2. The people that walk in darkness have seen a great light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them hath the light shine.
Now, that's what he came to do. Fulfill prophecy. There go your 5 and 7, Matthew 5 and 17. And to cast out spirits, unclean spirits. We know the two men, and when he crossed over to Bethsaida, and how they come and said, give me Matthew 8 and 28.
Matthew 8 and verse 28.
I'm just showing you his works and what he came to do.
And when he was come to the other side into the country of the Gergeses, there met him two possessed with devils, coming out of the tombs exceeding fierce, so that no man might pass by the way.
Now skip down to 32.
Verse 32. And he said unto them, Go. And when they were come out, they went into the herd of swine. And behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the sea and perished in the waters.
So now, unclean spirits. Unclean spirits.
Brother, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother. Verse 3. Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the publican, James the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname was Thaddeus. Sorry. Verse 4. Simon the Canaanite and Judas Iscariot,
So
who
now
also betrayed him.
Okay. Now right there, let's go back to the second verse. It gives you the name of the 12 apostles. When you get to Acts, it's going to say 11 apostles. That's another, but just pay attention to these small details. These are the 12 apostles. Okay. Now, in the first verse, he gave them power against unclean spirits. What made you unclean? This should be the question. What makes you unclean? All right. I'm not going to... the unclean spirits, to cast them out. Remember, he just over in chapter 9, you see they have a person sick of palsy, and you got over here the woman with the issue of blood, uncleanliness. So these are spirits. These are things, uncleanlinesses that he came to take out. And if you remember, he says, I came to, it's in Matthew chapter, let's go to Matthew chapter 4.
Okay.
Shalom. This is the 10th chapter of the series of the Gospel Straight Through. I'm Big Yalda, the messenger, Big Yalda. And to my right, I have
Brother Yerushalayim.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, we're going to get right into our lesson today. And it's Matthew chapter 10. We're going to start at verse 1.
Matthew 10 and verse 1. And when he had called unto him his 12 disciples, he gave them power against unclean spirits to cast them out, and to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
All right, remember now, we're still talking about when he went up into the mountain, and the great multitude followed him from chapter 8, chapter 7. We go all the way back to chapter 5. He was up in the mountain, and now he's come in the 9th chapter. He's come and entered into the ship and passed over and came to his own city. So now he's in his own city now, and we know who is his own city. And 10, now he's called to him his 12 disciples in his own city. Remember, he's in his own city.
Right.
All right. So now let's see who he called.
Verse 2. And the names of the 12 apostles are these: the first, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew his